Good evening. I'm calling the meeting to order.
Go and tap your mics. There you go.
There we
Okay, the meeting is called to order. Okay, hello, everyone. Okay, we will start off with the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance. The invocation will be given by Member Brennan, and the Pledge of Allegiance by Member Lewis. Okay.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. We'll now have a roll call and determination of quorum.
Chair Odom,
Present.
Member Bandor,
Present.
Member Lewis,
Present.
Member Mann, absent. Member Brennan,
Present.
Member Schultz, absent. Quorum is met.
Thank you. And we'll now have the swearing in of officers and any witnesses.
If you plan to speak on any case tonight, could you please stand and raise your right hand? I think one's writing. Do you and each of you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to present shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. You may be seated.
Okay. We'll now have the reading of the consent agenda.
Good evening, Madam Chair and board members. I'm Doug Gaines, Acting Director of Support Services. We do not have a revised agenda for this evening. All the cases will be heard.
Fantastic.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion.
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the consent agenda as presented by the city.
Okay.
Madam Chair, I'd like to second the motion.
Okay, we have a motion before the board for the acceptance of the consent agenda as presented. The motion was presented by Member Vander and seconded by Member Lewis. Okay, we're loading up for voting. Okay,
Go ahead and vote.
yes. Okay, motion pass. Thank you. Okay. The next, do we have any citizens? The next order of business would be citizens' comments. If we have any citizens who would like to speak before the board, we would welcome that.
This is for anything that's not related to a specific case. Otherwise, if you're here to speak on a specific case, you'll be called up at that time.
Okay, apparently we do not have any speakers, so I'm going to close that. We now will proceed to the cases to come before the board. Okay, the first case to be presented will be case number 2022-00880, and it will be presented by Officer Rodriguez.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Case is 2022-00880, Officer Rodriguez, of the address of 830 Hammocks Drive in Ocoee. On November the 23rd, 2022, I received a web form complaint regarding an untagged vehicle parked on the driveway. On December the 15th, I observed the untagged van parked on the driveway, Exhibit A. On December the 16th, a notice of code violation was mailed to Edna B. Laney Revocable Trust, 830 Hammocks Drive, Ocoee, as identified by Orange County Property Appraiser for the violation of the ordinance number, Chapter 165, Section 165-4, B1A. They were given until January the 2nd of 2023. On January the 2nd, 2023, I received an email from Victoria Laney and gave her two weeks extension that will be given until January the 17th of 2023. Just to give here the emails, this is the exhibit. B, this is the B.
Okay.
On January the 10th of 2023, I received an email from Ms. Victoria Laney requesting another extension. Gave her 3 more weeks until February the 7th of 2023. That will be Exhibit C. That's where I gave her the extension. On February the 9th, 2023, I received another email from Victoria Laney, this time requesting 10 days of extension, also giving her to February the 19th of 2023. Exhibit D. On February 21st of 2023, I received an email from Ms. Laney explaining her intentions was to resolve the situation. That was Exhibit E. On March 14, 2023, I sent an email to Ms. Laney requesting an update, and she responded the same day and giving her 3 more weeks. Exhibit F. On April the 4th of 2023, I sent an email to Ms. Laney requesting an update. Once again, same day she did responded, Exhibit G. Then I responded and suggested to come to the co-board meeting this month, since it's already 6 months, trying to come into compliance. On April the 13th of 2023, I hand-delivered to Ms. Laney the notice of hearing for this meeting. On April the 21st, I received another email from Ms. Laney, Exhibit H. It's not in here. Let's see. It's not in here, H. And as of today, it's not in compliance with the city. So it's the city recommendation given up to June the 26th to come into compliance, therefore to be assessed $50 per day if not in compliance.
What was the date that you had, June what? June 26th?
June 26th of 2023.
The vehicle is untagged because it's out of registration?
Is expired, yes.
And has not moved in the last 6 months?
No.
It's parked in the front of the yard?
Sorry?
It's parked in the front of the yard?
It's
on a
in
paved
the
surface?
driveway.
It's in the driveway?
There's no garage that it could be put into.
You would have to ask the, yeah.
I saw that you were moving through all the exhibits, and I was just wondering, there was one where she stated, I guess Ms. Laney stated that she contacted, I guess, the DMV, but was told since she's not the owner.
Yes, she's here to testify about that.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
then. So, well, I'll direct my question to her.
Okay.
Do you guys have any other questions for the officer? Then we do have Victoria Laney. She's here to speak, so if you would take the stand, please.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
As
Podium.
was mentioned, this is not, okay.
Gotta give
Yeah,
your
this
name.
is not my vehicle. And it's ironic because when she first came to my driveway, she was homeless then. And that I had a place for her to go. They were happy to have her. They were going to give her shelter. And when the first code violation went on her vehicle for not having the current tag, the people changed their mind, and I'm going, what could be so bad about having, it'll be okay, you can get a tag. And now I realize why they did not want her, because it's like a nightmare. I mean, it is in my vehicle. I tried to get insurance on it because it's not insured. She doesn't have the money, and they wouldn't do it because I'm not the owner of the vehicle. We do want to sell it. I found someone who I hope would buy it at a fair price. There's some concerns with that because they either need to go down to Kissimmee and find her coherent enough. And I don't want to say too much about her medical condition, but she was diagnosed with she's a cancer survivor. That's one reason she's in the nursing home. And just about when this code violation came, she was diagnosed with more cancer. And so sometimes I would drive down there to try and get her to sign a power of attorney or to talk to her. And by the time I'd talk to the staff, yeah, she's fine, I'd drive all the way down to Kissimmee, and she wasn't even coherent. And it's just not fair, to go behind her back. But the good news is yesterday, I was with her for hours, and they said that they got all the cancer. So I'm hoping that some of the medication she's been on and some of the other procedures will go away and that we can get this settled. But I did want to address what you were talking about, which is the letter from the state of Florida, because I checked because the statement of violations references Part B 165-4 references non-operating vehicles, and it talks about it shall be a prima facie evidence that a motor vehicle is non-operating if one of the more following conditions exist: the absence of a currently registered license plate on a vehicle, unless such vehicle is not required to have a license plate. And I checked with the state of Florida, and I saw on there different things you got, but I don't see that you received this, which is a response I got from the state of Florida. May I give you each a copy? Yeah, this is from...
You can put it here.
The what?
You can put it here.
Well, okay, and then they'll be able to see it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
How you
Yeah,
find this on?
I made a copy for each of you because I didn't know. Anyway, it says, thank you for your question regarding State Statute 320.02. I've been asked to review and respond. It is accurate that if you're not using a vehicle on Florida roads, the state does not require registration. If you register your vehicle, you're signaling to the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles your intent to use it on public roadways. For this reason, registration requires Florida minimum insurance, and your license can be suspended if a vehicle in your name is registered without insurance, or the insurance is canceled while the vehicle is still registered. The bottom line, though, he says, state law does not require it for vehicles on private land not being actively used for travel on public roads. So Donna's vehicle is on private land. It's in my driveway, in the normal place for a vehicle. It's not being used on public roads. She's not going to drive it until the doctor clears her to drive, which she doesn't have right now, but it's not abandoned. I mean, yesterday when I broke the news to her about this hearing, she broke down sobbing, and she talked about how much the vehicle meant to her. She actually lived in it. It was her home until I was able to get her admitted to the nursing home where she lives now. Before that, I got her into a group home, which was horrible. I don't even want to go there. But anyway, her dream is to be able to drive it again someday. And so that's one reason even though someone wants to buy it, she's kind of resistant to that too. But I'm hoping she'll agree and that we can get this cleared. But in the meanwhile, really, it's kind of funny to think that the state doesn't require that it be registered because it's not being driven. And yet the city, and so, that's kind of lawyery. I mean, you're a lawyer, and so it's probably maybe the hierarchy of regulations and that kind of thing. I understand there's home rule, but really to require us to pay to the state of Florida when they're not requiring it, when they said, no, it's okay, you don't have to do it, it's questionable. It's
Okay.
questionable. And so, it just says, "A registration is not required for any motor vehicle that is not operated on the roads of this state during this registration period."
Okay, well, the first thing I would do is I'm going to direct to our attorney, the board attorney. Basically, I understand what you're saying about state laws. I know in some instances, the state laws will preempt city ordinance, but I'm going to let our
Well, that's not the
attorney-
case here. What we
Right.
have is correctly stated, I believe, the situation with regard to the state's law, and that is if you're not operating it on the roadways, then you need not have a license. But the city's regulations are a little different in the sense, more in the nature of zoning regulations. And they say you can't have it parked out there without the license plate, or it's a prima facie evidence that it's an abandoned vehicle. So while the state doesn't require it because it's not operational, the city does.
Well, it does have a license plate on it, it's just that the little registration sticker is not current.
Well, I
It
think the
expired
license plate's
in,
expired, is it not?
yes, yeah, but there is a license plate on there.
No, I understand
Yeah,
that, but
yeah.
it needs to be a current license plate. So spend, I don't know what it costs, a few dollars to put the sticker on there, and then it becomes
Oh, no,
not a
it costs
violation.
hundreds of dollars because
Hundreds?
yes, because you can't, I went there to try and do it, and it first of all, because it lapsed, there's a fine for it, it will cost, it could easily cost $1,000
Whoa.
oh, yes, because first it has to be insured. The insurance company, because I'm not the owner of the vehicle, I called up to try and get insurance on it and to say, well, is there a garage status? And, I'm talking to these insurance companies and they want a lot of money to insure it, and a lot of them won't even talk to me because I'm not the owner of the vehicle. And then it hasn't been, because the tag expired in August, then you have to pay a penalty, I think, to register it again.
Oh.
You have to book an appointment far ahead of time to go over to the mall, to the DMV place. And I've been there several times. I would make the appointment, go over, try and talk to them and say, what about this? Well, what about that? I'm trying to get this done. And oh, no, it won't be a few dollars. It'll be maybe 1,000's too high, but more like at least 500 because I have to pay for the insurance.
Well, then the
and the
alternative is to put the car in a garage.
Well,
Close the door, problem solved.
yeah, I don't have a garage where I can put a
Is there
car.
any,
Now, another question that I had for you also, typically in cases like that, when you have someone that's been put in a nursing home or a group home, and they have, external business, a power of attorney, you indicated that you took a POA to her, because that would enable you, if you had a power of attorney, that would enable you to get insurance.
Yeah, I agree. I tried to get her to sign the power of attorney yesterday, and she just was sobbing, even though she should be happy that they said they got all the cancer yesterday, but she's sobbing about the whole thing, and it's
Yeah.
very emotional for her. I know it's hard. I mean, it actually ended up in my driveway because she was going somewhere and got so sick that the ambulance had to come take her to the hospital. So there's her vehicle. So the police came and towed it away because it was, you can't just have a car there by the side of the road. And so no one knew. I mean, I knew she was in the hospital, but I didn't know where her vehicle was. The police wouldn't tell me. I had no idea. Then I got this letter saying her vehicle's going to be auctioned off for the cost of the tow. And so I'm at work, and so I took off. I had to take 2 days off. I had to pay a notary to go to the hospital and get her to sign a power of attorney, and then it was towed to my driveway. And there's, like I said, who knew all this would happen, but I didn't know that it would happen, that it would be this horrible. But it's not, it's not that I'm not trying, and it's not.
And you do not have a garage that you can just push it in for?
No, I don't have, and that's, to me, that's ironic anyway, that if it's wrong, why isn't wrong wrong? Why is it okay if it's in a garage, but not if it's, I mean, I'd be glad to put a little magnet over the expired little sticker or something, you know? The state doesn't care. I mean, they specifically said, it's okay, it's not being operated on the roads during the registration period, so they don't require that it be registered. And I don't, to me, it,
Excuse me.
I
You
know
can-
what you're saying,
Excuse
but
me. Excuse me. You can comply with the state's regulations by parking in the backyard, and that will be okay with us too. It doesn't have to be parked out front with the license plate exposed. If it's behind a fence, that's fine. In the
Here's-
garage, that's fine. Isn't that the way it reads?
I think the backyard would be a problem because it's supposed to be in a proper place. That's one of the things that I have one for everyone.
I'm not certain of.
We have vehicles in the backyard all the time.
There,
Ask your code enforcement people.
yeah, that I think that it's, there's something on here where I argued that, because it says Part A, it's abandoned if park continue, oh, that's on public property, so my yard isn't public property, but there's no way to move that vehicle into the backyard because there's just not enough room.
Okay, Officer Rodriguez, I mean, are you aware, can it be moved to the backyard? I mean, if it's closed in, if there's a fence or
No.
something?
She's a property owner of two properties, but she does have garage.
Okay.
But I think she has personal things in them.
The
But
garage
she doesn't
door-
have this, she doesn't have the space on the sides.
Okay.
Yes.
The garage door was damaged in the hurricanes and it's not operational. And I've been trying to deal with FEMA, but frankly, the time I've spent on this has taken away from my opportunity to get a new roof, to get the garage door replaced and things like that, because FEMA is a challenge to deal with the documentation, and they're going to say no, and you have to go back with more estimates and that kind of thing. So right now, the garage door is not, it doesn't open.
So within, if granted, if we follow Officer Rodriguez's recommendation of 62 days, do you think it can be resolved? I mean, is that enough time for you to resolve this?
I would like a little bit more. I mean, if it were just me, this would have been resolved a long time ago, but because it's Donna and I don't have the power of attorney, I don't have the authority, I even talked to the police and they go, no, if you dispose of it on your own, you're committing a crime, and that kind of thing. And I'm going, I'm like caught in the
Rock and
caught
hard
here.
place,
Yeah, because it's her car, but I'm the one getting the violation, so it's a big challenge. And, she's, like I said, it's not an abandoned car. She cares very much about it.
Okay.
So if as much time as you can give me, I'd be grateful. I'm trying to get the hurricane damage cleaned up.
It's Miss Laney, correct?
Yes.
Yes. First off, I would like a copy of the paperwork that you have.
Yes, here.
Took the time to do that. That would be great. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
that.
Yeah, thank
And the other thing is, and I have a small bit of maybe light for you. You said the car hasn't been operational since this tag expired 8/2022, right?
Yeah, so who knows, it might be hard to even get it started.
So here's, well, hopefully that's not the case. But I can tell you from personal experience that if you have an affidavit stating that you have not driven the vehicle on the road, they'll waive those late fees or those penalties.
Really?
Yes, but you have to put an affidavit that the vehicle is not used on the road.
Would they take it from me, or would they require it from the owner of the vehicle?
Well, here you're asking a great question, because I was the owner when I went to the tag office and took care of whatever stuff that I had to do. So I was the guy who took care of it. So, but that question you'd have to ask the tag office. I really don't have an answer for that.
Yeah, and I know you might, but like I accepted a motor home for a charity where I'm on the board and went to the tag office to register it, and because it wasn't registered, and it was probably worth less than Donna's car, and it was hundreds of dollars to register it because the registration had expired, and they knew it was a charity. I mean, I registered it in the name of 5013C, and they still, so it can be, I would like it if anyone else would like a copy of what I prepared, because I worked hard on the letter and, worked hard to get this from Florida. So, I hope you would at least look at it. Can I give anyone else a copy of it?
Certainly.
Sure.
Am I allowed to walk over and,
No.
No.
Okay, here's one, here's another. So, here's another. Let's see, there we go. And then, I just have the one from the
I think that's
Florida Highway
No,
Safety and Motor
This
Vehicle.
is what they're saying, 62 days.
That was the recommendation.
But that's a good suggestion. I'll try it. I mean, that I can do, if they'll take an affidavit from me, I'll probably have to find a notary, I guess, and get them, and I could testify that it's been in my driveway continuously, and I'm also easily able to get, the nursing home's very sympathetic, and, that she's not medically cleared to drive it right now. So they even are the ones, in my letter, I mentioned that it's an ADA accommodation, because to have it, the nursing home won't let any vehicle of hers in their parking lot. It cannot be there. And so she's not medically cleared to drive right now, and so to expect her to drive it is not realistic. And
So as a resident over there, she doesn't have a parking spot then?
Oh, no, this is like a nursing home with, like nursing. She's been suffering from cancer.
Sure.
She can't even walk. I mean, when I said, in fact, I had to take her to her surgery yesterday because medical transportation wouldn't take her.
Right.
Because they didn't want the risk of, they couldn't find a thing that would do a wheelchair lift, and the drivers didn't want the risk of transferring her. But I had the nursing home staff transferred her in, and then the hospital staff transferred her out of the car, and it all worked out. But yeah, it's just, it's not, this isn't a recalcitrant citizen not wanting to do the right thing. It's just that it doesn't really, I don't know that it really, so someone on my board, the HOA board, turned me in. They don't like the car there or something, who knows, but it's, hopefully it'll be gone soon. But I can't, I'm fearful about June. I'm just hoping that she'll be better now that the cancer's clear. I hope.
So Counselor, just to reiterate what you were saying, so even though the state may not require this, it's just the city of Ocoee's register is a little more strict in their requirements.
Yes, it's a slightly different. One is an operational situation. The other is much like an inappropriate improvement to property, more of a zoning type of issue. And the failure to have an operational licensed car is prima facie evidence that it's unacceptable.
Okay.
But this says that if state law does not require it for vehicles on private land not being actively used for
State
travel
law.
on public roads.
But that's
And so
state.
this is the state's position that they're not requiring that it have a current tag. It's just the city, and I still don't understand why it's so important to the city, why, the torment this poor woman's been through just for the cosmetics of, the wrong year on this little yellow tag that most people don't even notice. No, it's kind of sad.
Well,
To put it in perspective, it would be the state of Florida doesn't really care what color you paint your house, but your HOA would be very strict about that kind of thing. So
Absolutely,
even though the
yeah.
state gives you broad broad power to do what you want. Unfortunately, it kind of filters down and.
But the good
and,
news is 720 and 718 regulate what an HOA can do. And so they can't stop you from Florida-friendly landscape and a lot of other things. And also, the difference is that when you buy into an HOA, you know what you're getting into. You enter into a contract and it's governed by contract law. When I brought, this, I guess I didn't, that's kind of the difference, is I didn't buy into this.
Okay.
Right.
Well, we need to proceed.
It wasn't
here.
even in place when I moved to Ocoee. The ordinance happened after I moved here.
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand.
Officer Rodriguez, would you repeat your recommendation?
My recommendation, given up to June the 26th of 2023, and thereafter, if it's not in compliance, it will be $50 a day.
Okay, $50 per day, okay. Okay, well, Ms.
I think if Ms. Laney gets the POA, the power of attorney, I think it'll be easier for her, everything.
It's not going to be easy. I'm sorry, I wish it were. If it were easy, it would have been done by now. And again, I don't want to say too much about her. I feel like I've already said more than I should about her privacy. I hope that maybe someday I'll bring her and you can meet her or something, but that's probably not a good idea.
Well, at the end of the day, we're going to have to make a decision here. And if something, we're going to put a date in motion here. But, you can always keep, the officer advised of, your progress and let us know. Okay?
Well, yeah, it's going to be horrible. And I just want to get the hurricane damage repaired to my house. And the hours I've spent on this have taken away from what's really important is, repairing a leak in the roof. I mean, it's just cosmetic to have the car there. It's not a functional, damage to the
I think before
property.
motion is made, we should discuss whether $50 and the date are all right.
Yes. Okay, well, we're going to discuss with the board. We thank you very much. You have clarified, highlighted the issues. And, I know it's a difficult situation to be in, but, there's laws, the ordinance, we have to follow those as well. And I understand exactly what you're saying as far as the state, but, you have state, you have county, and you have city. And
I'm aware of the hierarchy of ordinances.
Yeah, and what I'm saying, sometimes, with the city, like I said, this is a case, that's why I want to make sure with the attorney that, the state did not preempt the city, and unfortunately, this is one of those cases.
And I know you want to follow the ordinance, but I'm probably, especially since, Americans with Disabilities Act or a fair housing question, I don't know. I probably won't have the energy to do it, but I'd like to see this changed so that this doesn't happen to someone else who's disabled temporarily, because of a stroke or an accident and still hopes to drive their car someday. And in the meanwhile, they're in trouble. So, thank you.
Counselor, before we go to move into a motion, I have a question for you. In your experience, can you think of any other options that the city may afford to her or in this situation, or is it just the rules that we have to follow at this point?
It's pretty much the rule. You can certainly give her additional time within which to get this done. I think the recommendation was 62 days.
Yes.
Which is now starting to close in on a year. I suppose if there's an appropriate charity that could assist, you could apply or assist with a charitable contribution to be able to cover the cost of the license plate.
Right.
But no, as far as the city's board here, you're pretty limited.
Okay. I just wanted to double check before we
Right.
went ahead and moved forward.
Okay. My other question was, in the event she's unable to do it within 62 days, can we have this again? Can we grant additional time?
That will be for the attorney, a question to the attorney.
Yes.
Yes, the board does.
Candidly, you could. Of course, we got to be a little careful that if you constantly do that,
Right.
you kind of undermine your own authority. So
Exactly.
be a little careful in that regard.
Is it possible to put a condition on a second continuance going forward? Namely, one of the things that I'm concerned about, first let me say, I wouldn't want to be, I know that's a difficult spot that you're in, because you care about her. And, she's hanging on for life, and that car represents the life that she's going to return to. I understand that. However, you also have to be realistic, and a power of attorney needs to be done. And, it doesn't mean that you're going to sell the car, but
We've done this before.
to do something to get the car moved, to get this situation resolved.
Madam Chair, we've done this before, we extended the time. There was a case when the guy built some kind of a shelter, and he never got the
Exactly.
professional engineers thing, so we gave him some time, and he came back, he said he just got professional engineers, we gave him more time. So we have the right to do that.
Yes?
Yeah, I
We've
know
done it
we
before,
have the
we can do it
right,
again.
but, I'm looking at the time that, how long this has been going on, and we're finna give her a big block of time, and we may end up giving her another. I'm not saying not to.
No.
But we can't keep kicking this down the road, as the attorney said. In other words, we'll be undermining, I think,
I'm sure she realizes the
Yeah.
urgency in getting this done.
yeah,
So, Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion.
okay,
I move that in case number 2022-00880, that the respondent be found in violation of the code as cited as of January 1st, 2023, and be given until June 26, 2023 to come into compliance, or be fined $20 per day for the violation until found in compliance.
okay. Can I get a second?
I second that motion.
Okay. All right, we have a motion before the board in case number 2022-00880, made by Member Bander and seconded by Member Brennan, that the respondent be found in violation as of January 1st, 2023, and be given until June 26th to come in compliance. And if not in compliance, then be fined $20 per day until she comes into compliance. We'll take a vote on that. Okay, is there any further discussion? Okay, we'll have the vote. Okay, the motion passed. Okay, thank you.
Thank you for coming here. Thank you.
You'll know how it comes out if I'm getting the
Well, good luck. Good luck.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, the next case to come before the board is case number 2023-00065, and it'll be presented by Officer Rodriguez.
Case 2023-0065, Officer Rodriguez for the address of 1205 Florling Avenue in Ocoee. On January 26, 2023, I received a web form complaint with plumbing and electrical issues. On January the 30th of 2023, Jamie Simmons, building inspector for the city, and observed a master bathroom toilet constantly leaking sewer water from the toilet, and it was overflowing constantly. The whole bathtub leaks water out between the tub and the floor when the tub is filled and drained. I personally observed the drainage from the washing machine, not connected to the septic tank. So the photos that I have here is that the plumbing is all outside. So it was plumbing done, I don't know by who, but it's not situated as it's supposed to be. Here is the electrical problem that she's having, the tenant. It turns on and turns off in the area. This is the area of the tub. Here, I observe, this is where it's not connected to the washing machine is not connected to the septic tank. So the water was coming out, overflowing on the ground. This is part also the plumbing on the outside. As you can see, this is the part of the washing machine, and then it will continue here outside. So it's not connected. On January 31st, on 2023, a notice of code violation was mailed to Y.S. Avon SFR III, Prop Coat LLC, 32 Mercer Street, Florida, 4 New York, 10013, as identified by the Orange County property appraiser. And also, we sent a certified mail to the registered agent. It was Mitchell Rosen, 300 Park Avenue, 15th floor, New York, 10022, for the violation of the ordinance number, Chapter 108, Article 2nd, Section 1019A. They were given up to February the 15th of 2023. On February the 17th, 2023, I received a phone call from the property manager office. His name was Michael, and it was explained it would needed to be fixed regarding the plumbing and the electrical situation. He requested a 2 weeks extension, which was given until March the 2nd of 2023. On March 6th, the 2023, the plumbing dentist called requesting a 30-day extension, was given also to April the 10th of 2023. On April the 10th, the same day, I re-inspected the property, finding it not in compliance with the city. On April the 13th of 2023, the property in City Hall was posted with the notice of hearing, board meeting. On April the 21st of 2023, I spoke to Julian Ospina. He's the maintenance manager for Home River Group, and he forwarded me emails that I personally never received, and I let him know that somebody needs to come to the meeting, and he agreed. And as of today, it is not in compliance with the city, and it's the city recommendation giving them up to June the 26th to come into compliance, thereafter to be assessed $75 per day if they don't come into compliance.
Officer Rodriguez, you spoke to the maintenance man directly?
Yes.
Is he going to be the one that's fixing it?
No, there's a person who's going to be speaking in behalf of the company.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm sorry, I'm still trying to understand. I see, the way this was done. What exactly is happening? I mean, is it flooding out?
Yes, it's overflowing inside
Okay.
on both tubs. So apparently the plumbing that they have right now, it's not very good.
this
So
is-
they need even a permit from the city,
Okay.
a building department, for the plumbing situation right now.
And no permit has been?
No, that's correct.
And this was a tenant-generated complaint?
That's correct.
Okay.
Okay.
Huh? Yes, the inspector. Yeah, that's part of my testimony.
Okay. Now,
Simmons, building inspector.
Okay, and what
Yeah.
about the electrical?
The electrical, what they having is, if they turn on one thing, another thing, it shuts off everything out, so something's going on with the electrical. I'm not a specialist on the electrician, I'm not an electrician, but that's the problem that she's having, and that's why she's putting these connectors all around, because that's the only way she could get the power on one side. So sometimes she has power, sometimes she doesn't.
Okay, is there a danger? I mean, has anyone indicated that this can be
No, not really.
a fire hazard or anything?
No, not really.
Okay, okay. We do, if there's no further questions, we do have someone here, Phyllis Teresi, okay, to speak on behalf of the respondent. So if you would approach the
Justin,
podium.
can you put the plumbing back up, please? Thank you.
Okay.
Hello.
Yeah, hi.
Good evening.
And if you state your name and address for the record.
Phyllis Teresi, and I represent the owners with the, and management company with Home River Group. And the address is, at hand would be the 1205 Willing. Okay.
Okay. So you say you're the property manager?
I'm not the property manager.
Oh.
I work with the maintenance team.
Oh, the maintenance team. Okay, thank you. Okay. you
Okay.
proceed.
We received the letter from code enforcement. It was sent to New York, then it was forwarded over to us. When we got it, it was the beginning of February, around the 20th. We had put in a work order then, and to have someone go out, assess the issue, assess the problem, and to get us estimates so we can have everything taken care of. What took this long was the communication that we were having with the resident. It was hard for us to get into the home to assess any of the damages. We had 2 vendors go out. The first one, what we do is when we give the vendor the information, we contact the resident, we let them know we want to schedule something when you're home so we can get someone out there to assess everything, get everything estimated, and try to resolve the issue. But we were not getting good feedback from the resident. She was either not responding, which was most of the time, when we did finally get her to respond, and we also had vendors calling, the vendor was calling her as well, and they have their text messaging and all that going back and forth with her, that it was either non-responsive or I'm not home, I'm busy with the kids, things like that. So it took a long time for us to actually get a vendor to get into the home to check everything out. With the first vendor that we had, it took so long that they actually said, we're moving forward with other projects. We're not getting a response from the resident. The second vendor that we had went with, we finally got through to the resident by actually saying that we're sending a 7-day notice, because if we're not getting any complaints from you to help you solve this issue, then we need to send you a notice. And once we did that, then we started getting, and this is from that's the estimate that we received from the second vendor. So when they finally got in, we have the estimate here. It was sent to the owners. They approved it. Right now, we're in the process of the vendors getting the permit so we can start the job.
Okay. My first question, did the tenant was the one who made the complaint. Did the tenant speak with the management company prior to making the complaint?
The only thing that I have from the tenant was, they had said that their tub, at the first one, I believe it was that their tub was clogged. So prior to us knowing what was really going on, we sent out a vendor, and they took care of that problem, and that's from the one vendor. And then we also, then after that, she had sent in another work order saying, hey, like the toilet I'm having trouble flushing the toilets. So we ended up sending out a vendor. So every time she called for something, we were sending out vendors to fix the issue. And here's the other, for the other issue. So we were sending vendors to fix the issue, but then right after that is all of a sudden we get code enforcement.
Okay. And the other question I have, typically property management, prior to taking a contract, weren't they aware that this was improperly done? It's not like it was hidden.
I wasn't in on the whole purchasing
Right.
of the home, so I really don't know all the information about that. But usually I'm pretty sure when you purchase a home, there's a lot of details going with, I'm sure, the city and everyone coming in and doing inspections and everything. And if all that had passed and the owners were able to purchase the home, we weren't aware of anything that this had to be done.
That's
After
a
we
property
purchased it.
management company.
Yeah.
Okay,
So-
yeah.
In fact,
I'm a realtor, so it's all kind of ways that property could have been acquired, but it's an investment property. But that's one issue in and of itself. But on the other side, a property management company, to protect itself, they do their own, research. So I just find this kind of curious.
Excuse me. Has the second vendor who gave you the $21,000 bid, have they given you a date as to when they could complete the work?
they said the minute they acquire the permit, that they can start right away.
So they have to apply for permits and then they can begin the work?
Yes.
But they didn't give you a
That's the
dead,
last part that we're waiting for right now.
they didn't give you a deadline date as to 30 days to finish the job, or?
They didn't say 30 days.
Just curious. I mean,
Sorry, that I don't have.
you gotta be careful with contractors. Sometimes they start a job and it's 6 months before they get back to finish it. So,
We've worked with this company before, and they have been pretty good we give them a lot of work, so I'm pretty sure if we've given them this job, they're not gonna let us wait 6 months down the line. This
so
is
if
something
you get a
that's-
2-month extension from now, do you think that'd be sufficient?
As long as we can get the permit, in a good amount of time, then I would say yes. If there's any way we can extend it to maybe 3 months, but I'm really not, that would be up to you.
Okay, thank you.
It's just the waiting period of by the time we get the permit, and then I have to schedule everything with the resident, get them over there, purchase all the stuff they need, and start working. And if it takes several weeks, because they have to replumb them.
Officer Rodriguez,
It's a
this is the
large
reason
job.
why you gave him, why the 2 months?
Well, on May, I'll be on vacation on that time.
You got other people. Mr. Gaines will do it for you.
And you said once you issued the 7-day eviction notice, that's where you got the cooperation. So you don't anticipate any more problems with the tenant.
Exactly.
Has the tenant been in there a long time?
When they purchased the home, they purchased the home with the resident in there. I
Right.
can actually get the information on when she actually,
No, I was just curious.
can
And
get
my
updated.
my other question is, you would think if the tenant lodged a complaint, that they would want somebody in to have it fixed as soon as possible. So
Definitely.
why were they stonewalling your original people? So,
not sure, but we have.
They
text
still paying rent?
messages. Yes.
okay, just curious.
We do have like the text messages from the actual vendors.
Yeah.
And we had 2 separate vendors. And what they do is, we have something called a meld system where we
Yeah.
put all the information in, and it's communication with the 3. Like with the management company, we can get the owners in on it if we need to have them communicate,
Yeah.
the residents and the vendors. So this way, we all see what's going on with communication and.
Well, according to the dates and stuff like that, it sounds like you've been trying to work on this, so. Thank you.
Okay, well,
Questions? No?
if there's no other questions.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion,
Okay,
if that's okay?
yes.
Okay, I move that in case number 2023-00065, that the respondents be found in violation of the code as cited as of February 15th, 2023, and given until June 26, 2023, to come into compliance or be fined $75 per day for the violation.
Seconded.
Okay, I have a motion before the board in case number 2023-00065, presented by Member Bander and seconded by Member Lewis, that the respondent be found in violation as quoted as of February 15th, 2023, and that they be given until June 26, 2023, to come into compliance or be fined $75 per day until they come into compliance. Okay, we'll have a vote on it.
Is there any way of, if we're still waiting on, materials, depending on how long everything takes with permits and everything, is there any way that we will be able to do an extension of that?
Let the city know,
Let the city know?
okay?
Okay.
And it may come before us again, but.
The motion has passed.
Oh,
Right.
then it'll come back before us then.
And that would be before we get charged the daily fee?
You have to come back.
To ask
Yeah.
if we cannot get charged, and we need a certain amount of time if we have details. Gotcha, but I would like, so we can come.
The reason that we chose June 26th is that's our next board meeting in June. And if it's not
Well,
in
we have until
violation at
June
that point, we'll be
23rd.
back here.
You're saying we have until June 23rd?
26.
26.
And the board meeting is?
The
27th.
27,
27,
37. Wait,
27.
27,
yeah.
Okay.
okay.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you very
The motion
much.
passed.
Uh-oh, what did I do?
All right, have a good evening.
Thank you. Onward and upward.
Okay, the next matter to come before the board is case number 2023-00110 and presented by Officer Loeffler.
He speaks.
Good evening.
Good evening.
This case is at 476 Little Rock Street. It involves 3 violations, but right now we are down to 1, and that is work without a permit, 5113. This is based on a citizen complaint regarding a lean-to carport type building built on the side of the house, and it goes straight to the property line. That was on February 21st, 2023. And on the same day, a violation notice was issued for 51-13, work without a permit. I have exhibit. I don't remember how to do that. Oh, there. It's kind of hard to see in this picture, but that's the top of the carport device. There's a better picture. It has walls and a rear wall, a front gate, and a top. And it goes right to the fence of the neighbor's house. The violation notice provided until March 9th to either remove this or obtain a permit from the building department. There was noncompliance on March 10th. On March 16th, a notice of hearing was sent out for the March meeting date of this board, but the property owner contacted the building department, and the building department contacted us and said he was going to get engineer drawings and start working on getting a permit. So we continued it to this hearing date. Unfortunately, he did not do that. He was going to appear at today's meeting, but he is unable to drive due to some kind of metal in his eye accident, and they had to attend a funeral today. So he's partially disabled and said he would like for me to request for him as much time as the board feels for him to remove the structure.
Couple hours.
It's not presenting a danger to anybody, but it is in noncompliance, and
Okay.
city was recommending $25 per day fine, and I'm going to leave the days up to the board.
You said that
How,
violations are down to 1?
Yeah, just, he picked up all the trash and debris and trash can issues.
Okay.
okay. How long has that structure been in place?
Pretty long, maybe 2 years.
2 years, okay.
It kind of grew slowly.
Okay. Mhm. But it's I mean, he is trying to,
He definitely contacted the building department,
okay. Okay,
I think on the phone.
okay. So coming into complete compliance would be the total demolition? I mean, that's just totally gone?
Yeah, the tarp walls and the framework and the roof part.
But he's applying for a permit, a building permit, though, isn't he?
He was told he would need engineered drawings. He conveyed to me that they're very expensive.
So he's not.
So I think we are at a removal point.
Okay.
He just, through a disability injury, he just needs as much time as the board's willing to give him.
It looks as though there's stuff behind that fence. Is that true?
What's that?
Is there things behind that fence?
Yeah, that's, the fence is more like the door to that.
I mean, is it full of storage material, or is it a
Yeah, he
garage
said it's
area?
full, oh, I'm sorry. He said it's full of tools and equipment he's worried about being stolen. And that's when I advised him that eventually he's gonna need to get a shed or something out back.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, well, he's left it up to us. I would suggest the full 62 days.
I don't think he needs that long.
Mm.
I don't think he
Well-
needs to have that long. He's not getting a building permit. All it is demolition.
Correct.
So if he's gonna demolish it, he should be able to do it in a weekend. But
Yes, sir.
If he wants to take 30 days to do it, that's up to him. Now, I don't know what his medical condition is right now. That might delay it a week or two.
Exactly.
But I don't think it should be delayed 2 months.
He specified metal in his eye.
And that can be a problem.
What's,
Since it's
And you
not,
say the partial disability, is it the metal in his eye? Or?
Yes.
Okay.
the city's fine with 30 days if you choose that.
Okay.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion.
Okay.
I move that in case number 2023-00110, the respondent be found in violation of the code as cited as of March 9th, 2023, that the respondent be found in compliance with no fines assessed for codes 108-24D and 143-27A. And for code section 51-13, the respondent be given until June 26, 2023, to come into compliance or be fined $25 per day per violation until compliance.
Okay, can I get a second?
I second that motion.
Okay, great. Do we need any further discussion on the motion before we vote?
Can I get clarification on the date? I'm sorry, I coughed and missed it.
June 26, 2023.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, we have a motion before the board in case number 2023-00110, presented by Member Bander and seconded by Member Brennan, that the respondent be found in compliance with the codes 108-24D and 143-27.A. The respondent was in compliance and no fine is needed. However, the respondent was in violation of 51-13, and that the respondent be given until June 26 to come into compliance or be fined $25 per day until he's in compliance. Okay, June 26, 2023. I apologize. Okay, we'll now have that vote. Okay, the motion passes. Thank you. Okay, our final
Thank you.
case, which will be a case resolution. It's case number 2022-00909, presented by Officer Loeffler.
That, I'm happy to say, is in full compliance.
Fantastic.
They did get a permit for the structure out back.
Oh, fantastic. Okay.
Is this the one with the HOA guy showing?
Yeah,
And they got a permit for it?
yep.
And the HOA didn't object?
Well, they might have, but the city gave them a permit.
There you go.
Okay.
All right. Okay, well, with that, now I entertain comments from everyone, starting with Member Brennan.
Well, no, I think everything went real well today.
Okay, thank you.
No comments?
No comments?
No, nothing tonight.
Okay.
No comment.
I did want to remind the board that your volunteer appreciation dinner, if you choose to go, is this Thursday. I know our city staff is working very hard to make it a fun theme night. I believe it was it 80s or 70s?
70s theme.
70s night. So if you are able to come out, please do RSVP and let the team know, but you still have time to come. Additionally, Member Mann did ask me to express his apologies for not making it. He had a death in the family this week, so he's attending a funeral out of state, and that's why he could not come. So he was sorry he was not able to make it and would not be there for the dinner.
Okay, thank you. Okay,
No comments.
Mr. Yates? Well, I missed everyone. I missed you guys last month. And that's my only comment. Okay, well, with that, the meeting is adjourned.
Good meeting.
Okay.